All right, everybody, welcome back. We've got a lot of fun things to talk about here in the second half of the podcast. Don't forget, give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our daily JRPG videos over on the JRPG Report YouTube channel. Hit a kind of cool milestone. We got 400 subs the other day. Give a big shout out to all you guys who have supported me over there, and hopefully we're going to keep things growing there and here on your weekly JRPG podcast. Let's quickly just go over, these are just going to be some new videos for you to check out over there. Level 5 and Netmarble released a new animated trailer for Ni no Kuni Crossworlds. It's massively multiplayer online RPG due out for iOS and Android sometime this year. In Japan, still no word over if this is going to be coming to the West or not. Hopefully so. It does kind of look, it looks decently cool. We'll just see how it turns out, but it's got that Ni no Kuni animated style to it and kind of gives a bit into what the game is about. There was a 90-second special video for the new World Ends With You, the animation. So you can, if you are a fan of the Nintendo DS version of this game, you can maybe be fired up about this animation. You can kind of see what it's all about. I've got that over there. And if you know Japanese and you are interested in Mary Skelter Finale, there is a 5-minute long trailer introducing the game's characters and jobs. I guess you could put on the YouTube translation and hope that works out for you. But yeah, those are 3 videos, not a whole lot. Oh wait, there's one more. There is a new trailer for Scarlet Nexus featuring the new theme song for it, Dream in Drive. That is by the Oral Cigarettes. So if you want to check out that, it's kind of like a music video, I guess you could say. You can check that out over all those on the YouTube channel. Kind of an interesting story. And I'm really hoping that we learn about this one a little bit more at Tokyo Game Show in the next couple days, but we may not either. So, Bravely Default 2. We've heard so little about this upcoming game for the Nintendo Switch. So when this popped up, it was a little odd. So the Australian Classification Board gave this game a mature rating. That doesn't mean that's what it's going to be, but it did say it was rated mature for having themes of, including the themes and violence, were both falling under the moderate impact rating. So that doesn't necessarily sound like mature. There was nothing as far as drug use, foul language, or nudity in it. So I'm not sure why this one got pushed up to mature. Maybe Australia's just a little bit more strict on their rating. So this also could suggest, and that's why I'm hoping we get something more about soon, that the game will indeed make its 2020 launch window, which is what was announced back at last year's Game Awards. We've really not seen much on it at all. There is that demo available on the eShop. So maybe things are starting to come out for it. Like I said, I do not anticipate this is going to get a mature rating by any stretch of the imagination, but it was kind of cool to see this pop up, and hopefully that means that it's starting to come along at least sometime in the future. A game that we talked about a while ago, and it is Brigadine, The Legend of Rosaria. This one came out for the Switch. Well, it has been announced that it's going to be coming to PlayStation 4 as well, worldwide on December the 10th. Publisher HappyNet and developer Matrix Software announced. There will be this is going to be digital, but there will be a limited edition, physical edition, that will be available via limited run games. This one came out back digitally for the Switch back on June the 25th, and limited run also did a physical edition of that one when it was afterwards. PlayStation 4 version of Bless Unleashed will launch on October 22nd. Publisher Bandai Namco and NeoWiz announced along with developer Round 8 Studio. This is a free-to-play title. You can pick up and play for nothing. There's also some paid versions of it, though, that you can pre-order in a deluxe, exalted, or ultimate founders pack. I won't go into everything that's included in these things, as it's free, but if you want to play for it, the deluxe version is $20. The exalted founders pack is $40, and the ultimate founders pack is $80. This one first came out for Xbox One back in March. It's coming to Steam in early 2021, if you're interested. Again, that's coming to PS4 on October the 22nd. Fallen Legion Revenants will launch for PS4 and Switch on February 16th, 2021 in North America, February 19th in Europe, and February 27th in Oceania, publisher NIS America, and our favorite developer name, Yummy Tummy. You've talked about this one a little bit in the past. There's some trailers for it you can check out over on YouTube if you would like to do that. I'll have that there for you guys to check out. But again, that one's coming to the West next year in February and the rest of the world as well. There was a new patch version 1.09 update for Sword Art Online Alicization Lycris. There was also a trailer that went along with it as well, kind of showing, well, the first half showed the game, and then the second half talked about all the changes. Most notably was the Raid Dungeon Extreme that was added, a light play mode, and a semi-auto mode, which should make things a little bit easier. This mode is for players who want to focus on the main story and play the game with simplified combat. Light play mode, the player can play through the start of Chapter 2 while cruising through the story. This is for players who have seen the anime or read the books and want to read the game original content faster. There was obviously a bunch of things fixed with this one. Tried to make just make it a little bit better overall experience for this game. They've been working on it for a while. It definitely had some issues at launch, but they seem to be getting this one going in the right direction. The upcoming mobile game, Octopath Traveler: Champions of the Continent, will launch for iOS and Android on October 28th in Japan. Square Enix announced it will be free to play with in-app purchases. We got a new trailer for it, and again, it looks good. It kind of looks almost as good as the Switch version, but not quite as good. And actually showing a party in the trailer of nine people. That's kind of interesting. Still no word on a sequel for Octopath Traveler, and I'm sure it's coming at some point in time, but maybe this one will hold you over until then. Still no word on if this one's coming west or not. Maybe to see how it does in Japan, and then they'll look at possibly bringing it to the west. There was, speaking of expensive statues we talked about earlier with the Nier ones, there is going to be one for Persona 5's version of On, the dancing game version of it. It is a 1/7 scale model. Persona 5 Dancing in the Starlight. That's what I was trying to get out. It's going to go for $176. I mean, it looks fantastic. Do not get me wrong. When I scoff at the prices of these things, it is purely because I don't have that much money to spend on figures. I have bills and, a child in school and a mortgage and a car payment and all those fun adult things, and do not have $176 to spend on a figurine. As awesome as it is, don't have it, and makes me sad. But that's just the way that life goes on some of these things. We want all these shiny things, but we can't have them all. Speaking of money we don't have, but you'll probably spend Anyway, they did one, see, there's March, and I think there's one in April. Well, it's Tokyo Game Show time, so of course there's going to be a big in Japan sale going on right now on the PlayStation Store. I don't know if Nintendo's doing anything or Steam as well, but this is what I do know, so that's why I'm going to pass it along to you guys. As I mentioned, there was 59 different things that if you put on the filter for just RPGs, that's what it brought up. So I'm going to highlight kind of the big hitters. We're not going to go into each and every single one because we do want to get to Jordan's review here in just a moment. These are in alphabetical order. So the first one that pops up is Atelier Ryza. New game coming out, hopefully the beginning of next year. If you've not picked up on this one, you can now. It's, of course, normally still $60 on sale for $42. Death End Request 2 just came out, or is coming out, just came out. The first game down from $40 to $16. Disgaea 4 Complete Plus is $20 off, down to $29.99. Not a true JRPG, but definitely has those elements. You can pick up Dragon's Crown Pro for just $7 right now. Dragon Star Veneer is down to $15. If you've got that Final Fantasy VII Fever from Remake, you can play the original for just $8. Final Fantasy VIII Remastered down to $10. An outstanding deal on Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age down to $25. You can pick up, it seems like every time this game's on sale like every other week, Final Fantasy X/10-2 HD Remastered down to $12.50. You can get the multiplayer Comrades for FF15 is $5, and Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition half off down to $15. A really good little game, Grand Kingdom, is down to just $10.50. Highly recommend that one. I Am Setsuna is down to $20. Probably should have been what it was at to begin with. I'm just going to be honest on that one. You can pick up all the Kingdom Hearts games. 1.5 and 2.5 is down to $20. 2.8 Final Chapter is down to $20. And Kingdom Hearts 3 is down to $18. This one came out not too long ago. The remake of Langrisser 1 and 2 is down to just $35. It's down from $50. Mega Dimension Neptunia V2R, or how are you supposed to say that one? I can't remember, but it's down to $12. Anunnaki is down to $25. Persona 5 Royal down to $39. Excellent deal there. Romancing Saga 2, $12.50. Star Ocean, the First Departure R, the remake of the first one, is down to $14.06. Star Ocean 4 is $10.50. Star Ocean 5, $12. Super Neptunia RPG is $20. Tales of Berseria, they keep trying to give this game away, and it's a PlayStation Hits title, so you can get a physical copy for $20. You can pick it up digital for just $10 right now. Alliance Alive HD Remaster just came out not too long ago. It's down to $30. Caligula Effect Overdose down to $20. The Legend of Heroes games are all on sale. They've only got the first one listed here. So I'm going to look up the other ones for you right quick as soon as I get done talking here. But Trails of Cold Steel 1 is $20. You would be hard-pressed to get more game for less money at that point. Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus is down to $12. Valkyrie Chronicles Remastered is $8. And Ys Origin is down to just $8 as well. So I'm going to try to look up while I can. So you'll have to just bear with me for a moment. I'll have a have a little chat amongst yourselves while I try to look up these other. I'm not going to be able to find it. Well, just know the Legend of Heroes games are all on sale, and I think they're a pretty decent discount. So if you're wanting to pick those ones up on the cheap, you can do that and get you ready for part 4 coming out here in just 1 month. That's all the things I had to talk about. Let's flip it over for more Legend of Heroes talk to Jordan. He'll tell you all about his review, and then I'll close out the podcast for you guys in just a moment.
Hey everybody, this is Jordan here, giving you guys my thoughts and a little review on Trails from Zero, otherwise known as Zero no Kiseki. And overall, I just had a fantastic time with this game, and it's always something I thought was out of reach for me to play because I'm not the most, tech savvy person, and I didn't think I, would be able to install it correctly since, the only things available were before Geofront came out. It was, I think, a Flame Edit or some other English translations, and finally, when Geofront, released their iteration of Trails from Zero, I decided, you know what, I had just finished Trails of Cold Steel 2, and I had just, I was just about to go on to 3. I actually went about a half hour into it, and I said, I just feel like I'm going to miss out. Like, if I don't play this cross-bell duology, I'm just going to miss out on, the backstory to these games, and I'm not going to get as much out of them. So if you've kind of been looking to, play these cross-bell games and you just don't think they're going to get released here, or, we don't know if they're going to be released over here in the West for a long time, I really recommend if you have access to a PC that you try to play the Geofront version. Geofront made a really fantastic translation, and they did a great job with walking people through how to install their patch. Basically, how it works is, I guess this is not scripted, so I guess I'll talk about how it is that how I actually installed the game or how I actually got the game to work. And then I'll kind of get into more of my thoughts about the game itself. So on the if you just, Google search Geofront Trails from Zero, you'll definitely find it. And actually specifically, it's the posting from March 15th really walks you through the instructions on how to install it. It entails, it is legitimate, like you are making a legitimate purchase of the game. You are going to need to buy it, though. It's from a Japanese website. You're buying the Japanese version of the game from a Japanese website digitally, and then you're actually going to use, Geofront's patch. You're going to install it basically into that game, and then that post from March 15th that Geofront put out will walk you through how to install it. Don't try to. I made the mistake of just kind of trying to do it myself, and it just didn't really work right because I was missing. There were some components actually from like a previous version of Windows that are necessary that I was missing, that actually Geofront's launcher will actually take care of that for you. So just follow Geofront's instructions and you'll be good. But once you get that all set up, if you're like, I'm a console guy mostly, like I don't really like to sit at a desk on a computer. So what I did is I actually, I have Steam, so I imported this game as a non-Steam game into my Steam library. And then I was able to use, my PS4 controller with Bluetooth, so wirelessly with my PC. I was able to play the game through Steam, so I basically could play it with the PS4 controller. And the game has great support for the PS4 controller. It works flawlessly, and I believe it works you can play it with Xbox controller as well. But it worked great. The only thing I would say is it lagged a lot at first. The frame rate, I think, wasn't quite set correctly, so I had to mess around with it a lot, and eventually I ended up putting it down to, I think, 30 FPS, and then it worked pretty well. And then also the game comes with turbo mode, so I used turbo quite a bit. And it was great. I had a really smooth experience playing it once I got it set up. So enough about installing the game. I hope if you just go to that post from March 15th from Geofront, it's not that intimidating once you get started with it. So the game is just great. I had played, the Trails in the Sky trilogy, and if you're not familiar with, Legend of Heroes that much, I strongly recommend, like, you really need to play Trails in the Sky trilogy first before you play these cross-bell games. But I think these are actually or at least I'm just a little bit into the second game, Trails to Azure right now. But Zero, I think, is better than honestly any of the Sky games. I think it has a better cast, and it's hard to say that because the protagonists of Sky are so great, especially one in particular, Estelle. But Trails from Zero, you're the same. You have a smaller group. You're the same four characters pretty much the entire game. You're Lloyd, Estelle, Tio, and Randy, and just I think their characters are more complex than most other games. The character development um, is done really well, and some things that the characters do and say end up being a little more, I think, unpredictable, and they kind of develop different sides to them that you don't expect throughout the game. I just think they do a really great job with the character development. And sometimes, of course, as is with a lot of these Legend of Heroes games, the humor sometimes is just off the wall. I mean, it's great. And you get a lot of tie-in to the other Sky games. And these games, these Crossbell games, take place at the same time as, in the timeline as Cold Steel and Cold Steel 2. So I had played Cold Steel and Cold Steel 2 right before this. So now I'm seeing kind of everything that was happening in the Cold Steel and Cold Steel 2 games from the perspective of Crossbell. And it really makes you look at things differently, and it kind of makes you step back and kind of view things from further away. And it's just really cool to get that perspective. So, I mean, it's just, you kind of understand why things are happening that maybe you didn't before if you just played Cold Steel and Cold Steel 2. I will say, similar to Sky, there's a lot of walking in the Sky games. You walk around a lot. And in Crossbell, you will still walk around a lot. But I think that it's a little less walking, maybe only because in Crossbell City itself, you have fast travel. So that's pretty good. But then if you go outside into other areas of Crossbell, I mean, you have to either walk or you can take the bus, but it's still not the same as fast travel. Like you have to go to a bus station and you have to wait for the bus to come and pick you up and then, drive you over. I mean, you got to watch the animation and everything. So it's not as great as fast travel. It's like somewhere between, I guess, Sky and Cold Steel, pretty much. But I mean, that's really a minor thing. The music is just great. I think the music seems to get better and better with these games. There's just some great tracks that get you pumped up for a battle, or just the town music really sets great atmosphere no matter where you are. If you're in the casino, it definitely fits the casino area. Of course, there has to be a casino, right? In a JRPG, you get stuck there playing cards like I did, playing poker for like 5 hours. But anyway, that's kind of off topic. I will say the combat, they removed some things like in the Cold Steel games, you had those rush attacks, and but you didn't have what was called combo crafts as much. For example, like in Sky, you had two characters kind of do like a regular craft together, but in the Crossbell games, and in Trails from Zero, you have these combo crafts where each character uses 100 craft points each to combine to do this incredible attack, and you can do just as much damage as some of the S crafts. So those are pretty cool, and I'm not sure why they removed those from Cold Steel. It would have been cool to see, like, I don't know, like Reen and Laura do one of those awesome things together like that. It would have been pretty cool in Cold Steel to see that kind of thing. So I think that's pretty awesome. The orbment system. So there's a system called the orbment system where each orbment basically represents a certain amount of what's called sepith, and you have to basically make different combinations of sepith in order to unlock certain spells. So that's as much as I'm going to describe it here without getting too complicated, but it's very similar to Trails in the Sky. If you play that, it's pretty much like the Trails in the Sky system. In Cold Steel, they kind of took that away. You didn't have to make all those different combinations in quite the same way, but I think that can be interesting. I don't know if it adds a lot to the game, but I think it's interesting, and the spell animations I think are pretty cool themselves. I just think overall it's totally worth playing this game, if not for anything but the story and the character development. I think it's I think it's just unparalleled. And this cast of 4 is just even more enjoyable than I think of pretty much just about any cast of characters I can think of in a JRPG. So I really highly recommend this game. I had a great time playing Trails from Zero, and I'm already a few hours into Trails to Azure, and it seems like it's even better. Like, I feel like even in Trails to Azure, it's been taking the music to an entire other level, even if you're a big music person in JRPGs. So I hope you get a chance to play this game. I hope that you Geofront, they did a lot of work to translate this game, and it shows. The translation is just excellent, and I don't think I'm allowed to say how to do it on here, but it is possible. Due to copyright reasons, they could not put the Japanese voices in the game, but they allowed for the possibility to do that. They tell you like basically where to put the files if you have them. I can't tell you where to get the files because I think I'm not allowed to do that, but if you do some searching, you can probably find them. And I do think the voices add an element that's really cool to the game if you are able to do it. But I think it's still great even without the voices. I mean, they just did a great job. So I hope you'll go to Geofront's website, and it's the March 15th posting on there. I hope you'll check it out. Again, if you haven't played the Cold Steel games yet, I probably, you could argue playing these before the Cold Steel games. I would argue if you're going to try to play, these Legends of Heroes games, I would argue that maybe you should play Cold Steel 1 and Cold Steel 2. I would probably play those first and then play the Crossbell games, because the Cold Steel games don't spoil that much of the Crossbell games, but I'm noticing that Crossbell games like Zero, it spoils a fair bit of what's happening in the world, in Erebonia and Cold Steel. So I probably would try to play, if you can, I would try to play Cold Steel 1 and 2 first, and then the Crossbell games. Now, if you've already played Cold Steel 3, which I haven't played yet, I'm waiting to do that. I still think no matter where you are, you'll still love the games, but that's just my recommendation. So anyway, I think I went on long enough about this. I think you got the point. It's an awesome game, Trails from Zero. I hope you get to play it, and I hope you love it. Thanks.
All right. Many thanks to Jordan for putting that together for us. It was a little bit long of a review. I realize that, but he had a lot of things he needed to talk about in terms of how to do these things. It's not an easy thing if you want to play these games, and I think he laid it out there very well for you guys to listen to. So this weekend we'll have our part 2 Tokyo Game Show. We'll wrap up everything that's gone on from today until Saturday or Sunday. I can't tell you when that one's going to come out. Hopefully everything will wrap up and I'll have it for you Sunday afternoon. Hopefully I get done before football. I don't want to bleed into then. But next week it's going to be well, not really. But so next week we've got our regular podcast will come out on Thursday. And I'll have our Sunday special. I'm going to be chatting with Dalton for that one. And the next week I'm on vacation. So probably not going to hear a whole lot from me. And that's just, I'm sorry to say it, I don't get these all the time, but we're going to get out of town for the kiddos' fall break and head down to JRPG Island and chill out for a little bit. So can't promise you guys anything will go out that first week of October. I'm sorry to say it, but yeah, we should have a lot of fun, a lot of things to talk about this weekend. Hopefully we got some big announcements coming that we didn't anticipate, and I'll bring it to you here on your source every week for JRPG News, the JRPG Report. This has been episode 133. My name is James Fisher. Thank you so much for listening. Till next time, get back out there and level up.